What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Sixers rundown, and this is the rundown for Game 3 of the first round between the Sixers and the Nets. Now, there was a lot that happened in this game. Joel Embiid and Nick Claxton going at it, Maxey being incredible, and James Harden being ejected from the game with a flagrant 2 foul. Let's just start with Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid almost got ejected like 3 minutes into the game because Nick Claxton stepped over him and Joel Embiid tried to kick him in the balls, but kicked him in the groin. That could have been bad for the Sixers. That really could have been bad for the Sixers. He almost got ejected right out of the gate with a flagrant 2. Now, if he got a flagrant 2 there, I would have gone ballistic, even though it could have been a flagrant 2. I don't think it was. I think it was deserving because Nick Claxton was chirping all game. He was showing up Embiid all game, even though Nick Claxton hasn't done that much through the course of the season, through the playoffs. He's been he would be a role player on most teams. But he was acting like he was the stuff in this game. And he was. He was doing really well in Game 3. He had a really good Game 3. But I'm not a fan of Nick Claxton because of the way he plays the game. He was a dirty player in this game. But, it's the playoffs. I guess he can play how he wants to. But I'm glad Joel Embiid did not get too carried away and go too far with his with that flagrant right there. But let's talk about a good note. Tyrese Maxey. And you guys know he is my favorite player on the 76ers. I have his jersey on the back of my chair for a reason. He's my favorite player. He is just so good. He's so young, and he just lives in the moment. He is so clutch for the Sixers. Now, I'm going to get to his hot start at the end of the game later, but his hot start at the beginning of the game was incredible. He was able to bring us back into the game after being down a little bit because the Nets were on a run with Nick Claxton and Mikal Bridges going off when we returned to Brooklyn. But Tyrese Maxey was able to help us inch back into that game, and we ended up taking a big lead because of him, which we did end up losing the big lead, but we were able to gain it back and end up winning the game by 5 points. But Maxey was a big part of coming back in the first quarter and making it a ball game again. He needs to get the ball more. When the ball's in Tyrese Maxey's hands, I feel confident. When the ball's in James Harden's hands, I feel confident, but not as much as I do with Maxey. I feel like Maxey is just that guy, and when he shoots the ball, I feel surprised when it misses the net because he's just so on point. He's pinpoint with his shots. I think he needs to get the ball more. He's the shooting guard on this team. He needs to shoot the ball more, but he can't shoot the ball more if he doesn't get enough opportunities to score. So the Sixers need to do a better job of letting him take more shots and letting him do more ball handling when James Harden is not on the court. So I need to see more of Tyrese Maxey. I think he's going to be the X factor if the Sixers want to make a deep playoff run. He is just so important to the success of this team, so he needs to get more ball opportunities. Now with James Harden and his ejection, I didn't understand that at all. It was a flagrant 2. He pushed the Nets defender in the groin area or in the stomach area. I didn't even clearly see where it was, but it did not look like he pushed him in the balls. It was a normal basketball play. I think it was deserving of a foul, not of a flagrant foul, not of a flagrant 2, of course, because that was just terrible that they gave him a flagrant 2 and an ejection on that. I just don't think that what James Harden did was anywhere near an ejection, and that could have costed the Sixers that game. It could have sent us to be only up 2-1 in the series instead of up 3-0, which that is a big difference because then Brooklyn would have a chance to tie the series going back to Philadelphia. I just don't think that would have looked good for the series as a whole, and I think the NBA really needs to do a better job of assigning these flagrant fouls. I don't think James Harden was worse than what Joel Embiid did in the first quarter against Nick Claxton, but I believe the referees thought differently, so that's on them, but that can't happen. We can't be losing our star players because of these BS flagrant fouls. I just don't get it. James Harden should not have been ejected there. Now, before we end the breakdown, I really want to talk about Maxey and his hot finish. He finished this ball game lightning. I can't even put it into words. He looked like, I don't even know how to describe this. He was so good. He was making every shot. He was he brought us back into the game after I thought we were going to lose because we were down 5 with like 2 minutes to go. It did not look good. Maxey's getting the ball. He's draining threes. He's driving into the net, making acrobatic plays. He's just so good. He's lightning in a bottle for the Philadelphia 76ers. He's just incredible. The 76ers and the Nets were tied at the end of the game. He gets the ball with a minute to go. James Harden is no longer on the court because he was ejected out of the ball game. And he drains a three-pointer, gets us up 3. Nets go down to court, and Joel Embiid blocks them. He denied them of even having a chance to come back in the game. That was the nail in the coffin. And then when the Nets had a chance to come back after P.J. Tucker missed a free throw, then we were only up 3 at that point. I don't know what they were doing. They turn the ball over. DeAnthony Melton goes in, dunks. Boom. It's a 5-point game. The Sixers win. Now, before we do end the breakdown, I do want to go over these stats. So, Tobias Harris played 36 minutes. He got 15.7 rebounds with an assist to go along with that. Tobias Harris is not going to be the star for the Sixers. He is no longer that guy who you need to rely to all the time because we have players like Tyrese Maxey, James Harden, and Joel Embiid. So, Tobias Harris putting up 15 points is very respectful. Now, P.J. Tucker, 29 minutes, 3 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. He played really well yesterday. Just because he doesn't get any points does not mean he's contributing to the team. He is hustling. He is a great defender, and he's playing with a purpose. He's that Salvi type of player that the Sixers need in this playoffs. And we need him. We need P.J. Tucker, and we need him to be on his best defense for this playoff run, because if we don't have good defense, we're not going to win in the playoffs. We have good offense, but the defense needs to back it up if we want to make a deep playoff run. Joel Embiid had a really bad game, 38 minutes, only 14 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 assists, and he was getting into foul trouble. It was just not a good look for Joel Embiid last game. He kicked Nick Claxton, so the league's going to complain about that, and he just wasn't playing well. So hopefully he gets back for Game 4 because he did not look good in Game 3, but we were able to pull out the win. Now, Tyrese Maxey, 36 minutes, 25 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. I could talk about Tyrese Maxey all day, but I don't have time for that. I would love to, but I don't have time for that. But we all know he played well. Then James Harden with 21 points in 29 minutes. He also had 5 rebounds and 4 assists to go along with that. James Harden had a solid game. It was cut short because of that stupid ejection. And hopefully this doesn't mean that later in the series there's going to be more BS ejections like that, because that was terrible. Now, DeAnthony Melton, who had the nail in the coffin dunk to end the game to put us up 5. He had 13 points in 30 minutes with 2 rebounds and 1 assist. George Niang, 5 points in 19 minutes. He had 2 boards. Jalen McDaniels, was doing pretty good on defense and getting rebounds. He had 3 rebounds in his 12 minutes with 4 points to go along with that. He was playing really good defense. And then Paul Reed, to finish it off, had 2 points in the 10 minutes he played, but he also had 6 rebounds. So Sixers were doing really good on the glass, and that is how I think we're going to have playoff success, is you have to do good on the glass. You have to do good on the defensive glass especially, because in past years the Sixers have blown games because they don't know how to get a defensive rebound, and they give teams second chance points. And when you give teams second chance points, you're not going to win. You're not going to have chances to win because you keep giving teams second chance points. But that's really all I got to say on terms of the Sixers, technically, of their technical stats, of just how they need to play in order to win playoff games. So that's going to do it for this rundown. I'm sorry I got it out so late. It was a little tricky with, I was working on painting my church for my Boy Scout Eagle project, so I was busy all day today, and I got home late last night, so I really didn't want to put out a Sixers rundown right after the game. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe so I know you enjoy these breakdowns, or these rundowns, and comment down below what you think is going to happen in Game 4. I'm really excited for Game 4. I hope you finish off a sweep, and let's go take on Boston after we finish this sweep on the Nets. I'm confident, and I hope you guys are too. So that's going to do it for me, and I'll see you guys in the next rundown.